Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We are here and we are back with the Sins edition. And this time we're talking about Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, season of not having Michael Myers, and season of pleasing all the fans of the Halloween franchise. I got Coriander with me, as always, and Kill. Guys, how's it going?
Hey, Silver Shamrock.
Hey.
Oh my god.
All right. So for you guys that are watching, as you hopefully have seen with our last episode, and if you haven't seen it, check it out. For Halloween 2, we talked about the sins in that movie, and this is basically our chance to just talk about some of the things that we saw that maybe didn't work well for us, or mistakes we saw, or things we didn't agree with. And to be fair, we won't cover all of them. These are just a couple that kind of came to us and that we wanted to take a few minutes to talk about with you guys that are viewing. So anyways, let's get down to brass tacks, man. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch from 1982 was a departure from the franchise. And I just want to get a quick take before we get into these sins from each of you guys. I'll start with you, Kill. Halloween 3, what comes to mind when you think of this movie?
No Michael Myers. No Jamie Lee. What is this?
Right. All right. Coriander, how about you?
Well, I mean, this was my first Halloween, so
That you ever saw.
that I ever saw. And as a kid. Okay, so I didn't know, like I've said many times, that Michael even existed.
Wow.
So I think it's funny to hear Killian say that, because it's like, this one is like my first experience ever. So yeah, man. And I can tell you this, when I was a kid, I did not like it.
All right.
So,
Okay.
yeah, that's my first thoughts. Yeah.
All right. Well, for me, this is also a movie that I absolutely hated as a kid, because I just did not understand why we didn't see Michael Audrey Myers. I remember seeing the cover for the movie, at our video store, and I was all excited and thinking, Michael's going to be hanging out with some witches and pumpkins and skeletons, killing people, and he wasn't even in the movie. So anyways, total disappointment. It took me years to give it another chance, and once I did, I actually fell in love with the movie. But today, we are talking about the mistakes that we found in this movie. So let's start with our first mistake. Kill, I'm going to throw this one to you. And I call this one just simply crappy ass marketing. Kill, as we know, when they marketed this movie, they did not warn the fans about the fact that Michael was not involved and that this was a departure, and that John Carpenter wanted to start doing anthology movies, and every Halloween movie would be a different story. What do you think about the marketing, and how did it affect you when you first saw this movie as a kid?
Well, they did it on purpose. Okay. Because they didn't want to lose that market share. They didn't want to lose that money for people like me and you, Knight, that would have been like, no, we're not going to go see this. We're not going to buy it. We're not going to rent it. Right. They knew what they were doing because, it's like a win-win for them. Like, hey, we don't let them know that Michael is not in it, and they'll come. And then, hey, if they don't like it, well, we already got their money.
Right.
Well, didn't it just put that poster back up you just put up there?
Okay.
Right? The night no one comes home. There you go. That tells you right there.
See, they did let you know. You just have to read between the lines.
Exactly.
So when you see that tagline, you're thinking that what they're trying to say is there's no Michael Myers in this movie?
Yep.
Hey, maybe that's what they meant, because of course, like you said, in the other posters, they said the night that he came home. You know what, Coriander? And this is totally unscripted. I didn't know we were going to go down this road, but that might be one of the coolest viewpoints I've ever heard about this whole marketing fiasco with Season of the Witch. Thank you so much. And you're right. Maybe, we don't know.
If I could curtsy, I would. No.
What the heck? But no, seriously, you might be right about that. Maybe that was their way to subliminally say, hey, He's not in this movie, so you better get ready for something else. All right. Anyways, you all set with that, Kill?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's too funny. Coriander, let me throw something else at you, because I know for you this was your first movie, so your perspective on it is a lot different, and that makes sense. The marketing to me was a fiasco, but I want to talk about in the beginning of the movie when you see Ellie's father running through the rain, through the forest, kind of like he's on a quest, and he comes he's trying to get to the gas station, getting away from the agents. He gets subdued by one on the ground, and he's caught between these two cars. What I want to talk about as a sin is this: that old man's strong, because he's getting choked out, and he grabs that chain that's connected to a block holding a car in place, and he pulls that block out so that the car can roll into one of the agents. Now, look, I'm just saying, man, come on, come on, you can't do that. What you think about that?
You know what? People say that when you're in a situation that, whether it's life or death or trying to save someone, you could become Superman. Who fucking knows? I'm just saying.
So you said he had a moment of like almost becoming the Hulk,
Pretty much. It's either me or him.
Right.
It's called old man strength.
Yeah.
Hey, that's it. That's why I said that old man strong. He's super strong. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Kill. You know how it was when we were kids and growing up and helping Dad out in the yard and doing stuff, moving stuff in the car. I was just like, come on, man. Because the car, here's the thing. The car rolls that way. So that means the car is pressed up against the block. The block is holding that car in place.
Yeah.
So
it's most likely a standard, right?
Well, I don't even, it doesn't matter to me, but I'm just saying, physics isn't working.
If someone is trying to kill me, I'm going to become like, She-Hulk, and I'll find a fucking way, man.
All right. Good point. Good point.
Saying.
All right. Kill. This next one that I want to touch upon, well, this one it's very special to me. And I know Coriander's going to get a kick out of this, but I know you understand where I'm coming from. My third sin I want to talk about is we're getting more hospital PTSD.
Oh, man.
Look, dude, man. Look,
you got to get over this hospital shit.
Listen. That hospital, there's nobody in that hospital. What is going on in these movies?
Wait a second. There's Agnes there, who he smacked that ass.
Cook is in the fridge.
I think I should have married you, Agnes.
Walking down the hallway.
Right.
Tom, you can't do that nowadays. That's
right.
That's an HR complaint.
Right.
He's just like, I should have married you, Agnes.
Right. Smack. but then she does it back to him. So she's like, yeah, so Doc.
She's with it. So,
yeah, man.
They're tickling each other.
But listen. But seriously though, like there's people in the hospital, but once again, you're in a situation where you're so short-staffed. You better hope that there isn't like some big accident that happens and you got multiple people coming in, because it's so dead that one of the agents just strolls on into the hospital and goes into the room and totally obliterates Ellie's dad's face.
He just gives him a hug.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, a Miyagi moment. Super Miyagi. Anyways, so these hospitals, man, crazy.
Not only that though, but hey guys, this one is that, the lights are on at least.
True.
It's lit up.
That is true.
Yeah.
Good point. Oh, good.
And once again, it's at nighttime. So I don't know if this is the overnight crew or just the evening crew, but either way, they're more relaxed.
Oh my God.
No disrespect to my evening hospital workers.
Right.
But
shout out.
In the Halloween franchise,
yeah,
they're very
doing
relaxed.
Wrong. Yeah, they are. All right. So for our next one, Coriander, we're gonna go to our next one, and I love all these guys that have played, Myers in this franchise. I think they've all done a great job in their own way. Some better than others. We know that. But we have the special privilege of seeing the legendary Dick Warlock back in a Halloween movie. So I want to talk about how Warlock's still Michael, because In this
Kinda.
movie, Dick Warlock is playing one of the agents,
Yeah.
and I swear to all great things in the world, he is still playing Michael Myers. He's still doing
All
the
he has to do is just stand there, exactly, just like all these other goons. So
That's right. He's still
yeah,
performing the fastest slow walk of all time. You know, he's still doing his slow movements like Michael, and
yeah.
it's like, wow,
So wasn't his, multiplicities over here too? They were
right,
doing the same thing.
right, absolutely, absolutely. But what did you think of the fact that Dick Warlock was back in this movie, but just playing a different type of role, or was it
Well,
different?
it's funny you say that.
Yeah.
It is Halloween. This
Right.
is Michael in a costume,
Ah,
and he's just scoping shit out. So
right.
yeah, no,
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know what to say about it. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's interesting that they brought him back. They obviously
Yeah.
liked what he did, in the other movies. So
True enough.
yeah, man.
True enough. Kill, what'd you think about that? About Warlock, playing one of the agents, but still, channeling his inner Michael Myers from Halloween 2.
Hey man, you could take the boy out the costume, but not the costume out of the boy. I guess I thought it was cool. I thought it was kind of a nice little nod to
Yeah.
the franchise and to the people that know him and know that actor.
Right.
I love it. I love little wink and nods like that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And of course, Dick Warlock, what a career, man. I mean, he's played Michael Myers. He's played one of these agents that's basically, an imitation of Michael Myers. He's
And
also
Jamie
been
was in this too, her voice.
her voice. You're
So
right. Yeah.
so you're still getting a little piece of her too.
And plus, Dick Warlock played Jason. He worked on Friday 5. And he helped the
Yeah.
stuntmen in that movie. So Dick Warlock's been all over the place. So it's really, really cool.
Right.
All right, so let's go to our next one here, and Kill. This one is an interesting one too. But I want to talk about the town that dreaded normal. And in the movie, we see that Dr. Chalice, played by the fantastic Tom Atkins, who, by the way, was so good in this movie, and Ellie, they are trying to solve this mystery of her father's death. And so they, team up and they're traveling on the road. I mean, this is basically like Tommy Boy. And they're driving.
Weren't they like undercover as like father and daughter?
They should.
No.
Well, we'll get to that.
I'm just
Don't
joking.
jump ahead, man.
No.
But Kill, look at this. Who is in this town? It is dead.
Well, it's not dead. This is Silver Shamrock's town.
Well, yes.
But yeah, no, this is nightmare fuel. This is creepy, and this is when our boy Tom should have said, "Look, I'm sorry, young lady, you are very attractive, but I can't help you. I gotta go back to my practice. I gotta get out of here."
Right. Absolutely, man. I mean, it was just creepy. It was dead. Everybody was in their house. You had cameras all over the place. It was like the damn Pentagon. And you also had, speakers where you had, like you were saying, Coriander, you had Jamie Lee Curtis basically telling people, when the curfews happen. It's like, this town is freaking crazy creepy.
They're obviously, just like the people, the people in the town, if you ask me, are just like the people in the suits. It's all fucking bullshit.
Well, yeah. All right. That's an interesting way to look at it too. That could definitely be a deep cut.
I'm just waiting for one of them to start pointing and yelling, "Outlander!"
Yeah, right? We have your one.
And more like the body snatchers, right? And
yes, good
point
point.
and scream.
I love it. Okay, so Coriander, here's the next one that we've got. And when we're talking about Tom Atkins in this movie, and you kind of alluded to it, this one is called Come to Daddy. Because Tom Atkins is the pimp in this movie.
Pimp? More like a pedophile. No.
Well,
hey, that's Tom.
Hey. But listen,
I don't care. I don't care who it is.
Hey, he asked how old she was.
Yeah, after the fact.
Hey, but he asked.
He did. Yeah. All right. So when he gets a chance to talk to her after
Yeah.
she comes to see her father that had been killed in this hospital, and he's talking to her and so forth. I mean, he's already, pretty much putting the moves on her, and basically
Yep.
is like, okay, I'll help you figure out this mystery, of your dad. And so to me, it's just, even as a kid, I was like, wow, this is huge age difference between these guys. And like you guys just alluded to, he gets to one point when he says, how old are you again? And of course, she kind of laughed it off and said, older than you think.
Wait a minute. How old are you?
Relax. I'm older than I look.
Did this strike you as odd when you saw this as a kid?
Hey, who didn't have a crush on an older man, when they were
All
younger?
right.
So I get it.
All right. How about you, Kill?
I mean, look, honestly, no, it didn't raise any red flags because Hollywood does this all the time.
Good point.
Sean Connery and Catherine Zeta-Jones, and like, I mean, it come on, and it's Tom. I'm sorry, it's Tom. Let Tom live. Let him live.
All right.
No, it didn't raise a red flag, but it is creepy.
It is creepy, man. I'm saying, like, there's a huge
I realize
difference
it now.
There's like a 25-year difference, like, easily. But anyways, it is what it is. But I will say, all that being said, they really did have a decent chemistry, and the characters, you actually cared for them. All right, so Kill, let's go to our next one. Okay, so our next one that we've got is Cochran don't care about that money. Okay, so
Cochran.
this is basically talking about the part where he's got his biggest seller of silver shamrock mask, and he brought his family, little buddy, and all that type of stuff, and they literally kill the family. And I'm thinking to myself, why are they doing that? I mean, they could have literally picked anyone, maybe that hotel manager who's like such a big fan of Cochran and so forth. Why are they killing their number one salesperson and his family? Did you get a sense of that being a little odd or a little creepy or crazy?
I mean, a little crazy, but I guess ultimately, sort of like you said, he's not in it for the money.
Right.
He's not in it for the money. He's in it for other reasons, and the chaos and the death, and he's a bringer of death. So in a way, this might be his twisted way of rewarding this top seller.
Oh, wow. I never thought of it that way.
I mean, because he's all about, hey, this is just, what we do. We want to kill people, and you have helped us do that, so let me reward you with death.
Wow. I have never heard anyone say it like that. That's all right. Look at him. He's like, yeah, boy.
Yep. Killian knows
Cochran.
me.
Yep. Killian is going to be next.
Nope.
No, but that's a good point. Maybe that is the way he looked at it, because see that if that was the intent, which of course we don't know, that actually makes a hell of a lot of sense, because he was very nice to the family and to the father, and saying, showing them around the factory and saying, this is our best seller, and so forth and so forth. So maybe there was a twisted way that it was a reward, saying, you have been placed in this position to be our sacrifice to help us complete this
Not only
ritual.
that, but they're test subjects. That's what I got of it. They brought them in there just
definitely
to fucking lure them with all this shit. And then, you put them in front of that commercial, make sure this shit works. And if it works, we're golden.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Yeah, they wanted to see if this thing was going to work. You would think that they would have already known, because they went through all this friggin' trouble, to put this whole thing together, which of course we'll talk more about that as well. But Coriander, let's talk to you, because I know especially about some of the behind the scenes on this. Next thing I want to talk about is, I like to play basketball, and I'm pretty good, but Tom Atkins, man, he's very talented, because he can do a perfect mask toss. So in that scene where he's held captive, and he's trying to break free of the rope, and he's got that skeleton mask on him, which, by the way, I thought that was a fantastic scene. Well, he has to cover the camera that's watching him so he can, be able to move around without being seen. And he tossed that mask up to that camera. It had to have been about 1,000 feet away. What did you think about that scene? And also, obviously, about the behind the scenes of how many times it took to do it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lucky shot.
Scene when you had kind of read up on it, it was like 40 times that they tried this thing to get it right.
It was a lot.
Which is crazy.
I just can't remember the number.
Yeah. But it makes sense. It definitely ain't going to be the first time, and that's the bottom line. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. Kill. The next thing we're going to talk about now, at the end of the movie, or near the end of the movie, he's basically trying to foil this plot for them to basically murder a bunch of children across the country. And Tom Atkins finds a way because they've got tons of those silver shamrock emblems in boxes, tons of boxes. So why are the boxes still at the factory when they were literally like an hour or two before this thing's about to go down? Does that make sense? I mean, there was tons of boxes at the end of the movie because he just grabbed one of a bunch of them and started to rain them down on people to, basically destroy this whole plot, or so he thought. What'd you think about that?
You bring up a good point. No, it doesn't make sense, but I mean, maybe that was like the second wave, or maybe the UPS driver was running late. Amazon Prime wasn't around at the time, so right. I don't know, but that is like, kind of a big faux pas. That's a bit of a mistake there,
right? I mean, it was tons of boxes there, and it's like, what are you guys saving that for the sequel? I mean, what's going on? We're gonna head
overseas. That's supposed to go overseas.
I was just about to say we're gonna head over to Russia after we take care of America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jesus. All right, it's crazy. All right, Coriander. So the next one I wanted to talk about, this one is another one that was pretty funny, and we talked a little bit about this before we started doing this episode, but let's talk about Stonehenge. Okay, so we find out that the huge plot point of this movie and the way that they're able to make these masks murder the kids is basically they use the power of Stonehenge. Cochran explains to Tom Atkins at the end of the movie how...
Yeah, this is a bunch of bullshit.
Okay, so tell me about it. Because he even said in one of those scenes, he was like, we had a hell of a time getting it over here. And I'm like, how the hell did you get it? It's Stonehenge. What is this? What'd you think about that plot point?
I think they had Chevy Chase back up that car and knock it all down for him. Then he picked that shit up. Yeah. I don't know. It's stupid, and it just led to more ruined shit. And oh man, it just they keep doing stupid shit sometimes that it's like, why? It's like Stonehenge.
Yes.
Come on. That's ridiculous.
I will say this though, and Kill, I'll pass it to you in a second too. I will say this though, the fact of how it was explained, I almost kind of bought it. You know what I'm saying? Like I was kind of like, maybe I'll buy into this. What would you think of it, Kill?
I mean, look, I saw this as a kid.
Right.
And I've always been fascinated with Stonehenge. How did those stones get there? Who organized them? They were dragged miles away from, another, location. And we don't know the untapped power of Stonehenge.
Right.
So as a kid,
their power.
Sure. I bought it, okay.
Yeah.
I will say this, of course, just like a lot of things in this movie, watching it now, you're like, okay, that's creepy, or he couldn't do that in the workplace, or, the Stonehenge thing. But that is them at least trying to explain some things.
Yes.
You had cavemen and dinosaurs working together. Yeah. That's what got them there. Yeah, the Flintstones with the stone wheels.
All right, well, hold on, man. We're not going there. You guys are going off the rails here, man. But Dan O'Hurley, who played Cochran, I gotta admit, man, he almost made me a believer, because that monologue that he gives at the end, to be fair, was awesome. It was so awesome. So I almost believed it. But again, like Coriander was saying, Stonehenge, it's like I don't know. I don't know if I can roll with that. So it's it's Stonehenge, man. Like I'm just wondering how they even thought of that. It's crazy. All right. So Coriander, here's another one that we want to throw to you. I'm asking a question, and my question is, what time is it? And what I mean by that, did you just say, "Oh boy"? And what,
Yes.
and what I mean by that is, we know that in this movie, a big part of the plot is that the big giveaway happens at 9 p.m., right? Across the whole country. But there's different time zones, right?
Yeah, man.
So the giveaway in the Eastern time zone, it'd be successful, but in the West, it would be earlier than 9 p.m., right? And they showed that scene, which, by the way, was a fantastic scene, the little montage while, Cochran was explaining his plan, where you saw the kids in different parts of the country walking around. You saw California, you saw on the East Coast, you saw in the middle of the country.
No.
So
yeah,
that was a big mistake. Did that ever come to your mind? And if not,
no.
do you think that was a mistake that they should have been more aware of?
Yeah, they shouldn't have said 9 Eastern Standard Time, because then everyone else in the other time zones, they're safe.
Right.
But all the kids in that other time zone, the Eastern Standard, no, not so much.
Exactly.
So,
go ahead, Kill.
Yeah.
Well, yes and no, because they said 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but then on the West Coast it would be 6 p.m.
Right.
And kids still go trick-or-treating as early as that,
Right. But here's the thing. A bunch of kids are getting killed on the East Coast. At some point, that's going to get around to the country within that 3 hours for sure.
Well, I guess what I meant was if it's 9 p.m. on the East Coast, it still could be unilateral for all the zones except, it'll be 9 p.m. there, 6 p.m. on the West Coast, and
but they don't say
8 p.m. in Middle America or something.
Good. No, that's a good point, Kill. It could be, yeah. I mean, of course, and that's a little bit of a nitpick. With a lot of these sins, we're having fun with it, but it's just one of those things that kind of was like, wait a minute, this plan isn't really foolproof. You know what I'm saying? So, absolutely, time zones, people, time zones. Kill. This is another one that's kind of funny, but this is kind of a sequel sin. So we're going to talk about Stonehenge: The Revenge. And what I'm talking about is at the end of the movie, after Tom Atkins drops like 10,000 of those, silver shamrock pins,
bottle caps, right?
Pretty much down on the goons, and the computers go haywire and everything. Well, I thought that might have been it, right? But all of a sudden, there's this big explosion and all this type of stuff, and all of a sudden, Stonehenge gets pissed off. That's what it seems like, and literally shoots a beam of magic right at Cochran. What? How does that happen?
Because Stonehenge is sentient, and it's the spirit of Sam Heng. and it's a part of the cult of Thorn, and,
no.
And that's why that stuff came further. Sam Heng was in the 2, and then Cult of Thorn later on, so it all lines up. They thought it all out. It all out.
Time War Plasso.
Oh my god, this is what I think of that. That's what I think of it, man.
Oh no, not
God.
that.
But no, I mean, it was crazy. It's like, okay, Stonehenge is literally taking revenge on Cochran for moving it or whatever, or using it for evil purposes, or whatever.
Sucking out its power, right?
Exactly. Yeah, because he even showed that even a particle from Stonehenge can power, the silver shamrock pens.
Cap, and bottle caps.
It's like, wow. All right. That was a good one, Kill. Okay, so Coriander, we're almost at the end of here. So I want to talk about, at the very end of the movie, we got to talk about lazy stations. Okay, so Dr. Chalice, played by Tom Atkins, he escapes. he calls the TV stations. Now, in the movie, as far as what we're told, is that there's like 3 main stations or whatever that the commercials are playing on. So he's literally telling them what's going on. And I get it. It does sound crazy and so forth. But you'd think that the TV stations would kind of hurry up, just in case he's right. Like, I don't know if Silver Shamrock has a big endorsement with the TV stations that they didn't want to break a contract.
Exactly. They don't want to lose that money from not showing this commercial.
Is that what it is?
A lot of commercials.
Yeah. Right?
They had a commercial for each day of the countdown.
Yeah, right? Man. So there you go.
Oh my. What'd you think of it, Kill?
Just what I said. Like, they played that commercial so much that even Tom a few times was like, God damn this commercial again. Right?
Yeah. So, you should have invested in Shamrock, man.
Right. And of course, the sad thing is, if that was to happen in real life, the same thing would have happened. The stations would have been like, yeah, we got a crazy person.
I don't know nowadays, though. I don't know.
You never know.
I guess it depends on what you say. If you say, hey, there's some real threat, yada yada, you guys all know, yes, they might respond. But if you say, oh man, the Halloween mask, they're gonna melt the kids' faces, like
bugs are gonna crawl out of their eyeballs and mouths.
Yes.
Okay, sir. What's your address, sir? Maybe we can send someone to help you. Like,
send the cops.
The straight jacket.
Exactly. All right, so we're going to do another one, and these are actually going to be our bonus ones. Okay. Now, the first one that I want to talk about, I'll throw this to you, Coriander, and I'm simply just going to tell you what it is. But we've seen this in horror movies, especially lately when we've done watch parties and stuff like that. You got to stop being a detective if you're not a detective in these movies, Coriander. And look, man, if you see a Silver Shamrock pin come off of a mask or whatever, why are you going to take a bobby pin and try to maneuver in it? Did you think that this was kind of a silly scene, Coriander?
Isn't she? What is she? Is she like
she's
a retailer?
One of the people, yeah, she's one of the people that sell the mask.
I just think she's nosy and like, what the hell is this? And yeah, man, that's what happened.
But I mean, why even put a bobby pin in there? I don't even understand why she did that. It's like, okay, it came off the mask.
Who back then wasn't wearing a bobby pin, and those things are so tiny that they'd fit into any hole. So why wouldn't you use it? Poke at whatever the hell's in that thing.
Okay, all right. Well, I hope you never come across a Silver Shamrock pin, because I don't want that to happen to you. Okay.
I don't think I'm going to be that dumb.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the whole reason for the sin.
Some people, are stupid enough and stick them in the friggin' light socket.
Some people are dumb. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I got you.
They just can't help it.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. And so our last one, Kill. This again is a bonus one, but of course, no freaking Michael. Now, we've mentioned this a little bit, but all I want to say is, do you think, or this is where I want to go with this sin, do you think it was a good idea for them to try to do this in 1982 after Halloween 1 and 2?
No. And the reason for that is, had Halloween 2 been a bomb, had it been a piece of crap, sure, try to pivot and go in a different direction. But then again, if it was a piece of crap, there probably wouldn't have been another movie. Right. But it is kind of sad to think about what they could have done.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah.
Now, obviously, nowadays we appreciate this movie, but just like Night, back in the day, if you're expecting to see Michael and you get this, it's like, what is this anthology stuff? It's the same way as if you're watching a Friday the 13th movie, and then the next movie, it's just a movie about counselors sitting around a campfire telling scary stories. Right. And there's no Jason. Right. So yeah, I think that definitely, if anything, was the biggest sin of this.
Okay. All right. And Coriander, I know this was the first Halloween you saw and you didn't know who Michael Myers was, but when you got older and you realized that Michael was the franchise, in 1 and 2, and obviously continuing with 4 and out, do you think that this was a smart? Do you also? I'm, like I asked Killian, do you think that this was a smart idea for them to not have Michael Myers in this movie?
I mean, look what happened to him after the second movie. You would think, how the hell is he going to survive that?
Well,
So,
he was supposed. Well, Carpenter wanted to kill him. He was dead. In Carpenter's
right.
mind, when he wrote Halloween 2, that was the end of Michael. That was the end
Yeah.
of Laurie. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you think it was? So you think it was a good idea that they did this without Michael?
I mean, to try to bring him back from something like that, yeah, they obviously did it.
Yeah.
But I mean, at the time, maybe they couldn't think of a good reason.
Well,
And I bet
Good
because
point.
everybody with this new movie, ooh, what does this tower mean? The tower. This is what the fucking tower means. The tower is gonna like send out a signal, and whoever are the
Oh
stupid
no,
fucks wearing those masks are gonna like melt and have bugs coming out, and that's the whole tower shit.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
All right. The way I look at it is, I think I understand what they were trying to do, and I agree with you, Coriander. It was definitely a situation where they had to kind of do what they had to do. Halloween 2 killed everyone, and they wanted to move on. So I understand what they were trying to do, but I think they went about it the wrong way. I think they should have marketed this movie better. They should have let people know that Michael was not part of this franchise anymore, and I think people would have been more prepared for it.
Yeah, but did they, usually with trailers, even back then, you saw a
Yeah.
glimpse of him. Did you see a glimpse of him in this? No. And it
No,
even
I
told
think
you
no.
on the poster right
Well,
there.
no, I know that, but I'm just saying for people, because there's a lot of people, and especially back in 1982, they don't watch trailers, or they didn't see a lot of trailers back then. So there are a lot of people that had no clue. All they heard was that it was Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. So I still stand by the
You
fact I
just
think
got
they
to
should
dig
have
a little
marketed.
deeper,
Well, maybe, but I'm just talking about. I'm talking about the general audience. I'm not talking about like
Yeah.
diehard fans like us. The general audience. I think that was kind of the meltdown. Well, anyways, those are our sins that we have for Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. It's one of those movies that it's kind of divisive in the fan base. People that are fans of the franchise, but in the last 15 years or something like that, it's definitely gotten a lot more love, and it's definitely got more of a cult status. So it's kind of cool to see that it's starting to get the respect that it never got back in 1982, and for a long time, myself included. As a fan, I did not like it at first, but now I see what they were trying to do. With all that being said, for you guys that are watching, hopefully you enjoyed this, as we are going to be continuing going through the Halloween franchise and talking about the sins in each movie. Let us know in the comment section down below what you think of Season of the Witch. What are some of your sins that you'd like to talk about, or what do you think about the ones that we talked about? Leave us a comment down in the comment section. Please give the video a like. That would help to support the channel, and we'd appreciate it. And we also want to thank our wonderful patrons and also our channel members for all their support. It is much appreciated. We will catch you guys later. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.
Peace.
Church.